The Robertson County High School Football Show is brought to you by Springfield Carpet One. Whether you are in need of new hardwood, luxury vinyl, tile, carpet, or laminate, Springfield Carpet One has everything you need for your next flooring project. Thomas Drugs. Since the early 1900s, Thomas Drugs has served the Robertson community for all of their prescription needs. Stop by and see their friendly staff and grab you a sundae at their ice cream parlor today. Old Hickory Credit Union. Whether you need to open a checking account or are interested in taking out a loan or mortgage, Old Hickory Credit Union can help you every step of the way. Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment. Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment is the one-stop shop for all of your outdoor needs. Select Physical Therapy in Springfield. Select Physical Therapy provides inpatient and outpatient rehabilitation services in Robertson County. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, here are David Wilson and Brady McAtamney.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into the Robertson County Football Sports Wrap-Up Show. My name is David Wilson. I'm the sports reporter for the Robertson County Connection, here to give you all the ins and outs of the Robertson County football year here in Week 2. I'm joined by sports reporter Brady McAtamney. He's the sports editor up there in Clarksville. He covers Montgomery County. Brady, how you doing?
Doing good, David. How are you?
Let's jump right into it in a matchup that you were there for last Friday night, the Battle for the Bridge, the 100th all-time meeting between Clarksville and Springfield. And before, Brady, we jump into it, just kind of talk about the atmosphere and what you saw Friday night out there in Clarksville.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Springfield High School football segment is brought to you by Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment in Springfield. They're one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Stop by and see their inventory or give them a call at 615-384-7660. The atmosphere there was great. Excuse me. With it being the 100th all-time meeting, people were there to want to take. That's a historic thing. That's a historic rivalry. So anyone who's gone to those two schools in the past 100 years knows that these two schools are rivals. So people want to get out there and see it. Of course, the Clarksville side had more to cheer about as the Wildcats defeated the Yellow Jackets 42-7. And you know, that makes me think Springfield's offense has kind of sputtered to start the season. How can the Yellow Jackets offense kind of recover from this disappointing start?
Yeah, and we saw that in Week 1. I was there when they played against Greenbrier. They're only able to put up 20 points against that Bobcats defense led by John Elmore. You know, they're breaking in a new quarterback, Parker Betts. This was his first career road start as the varsity quarterback at Springfield. He's had 2 starts in his career, both of them being at home, one last year against Portland, and then the opening week contest against Greenbrier. So this Springfield team, they're young on the offensive side of the football, and they're learning the playbook, learning to be out there every Friday night at the high school level and a varsity level, rather. So Dustin Wilson has his hands full just getting that Yellow Jackets offense in tune and get them going on the offensive side of the football. It doesn't help that Keenan Chapman Jr., who was expected to be a star running back for them in the backfield this year, an all-county performer last year, had a knee injury at the beginning of the year that is going to sideline him for the entire year. So Jaden Hurst is filled in at the running back position. He scampered in for a 25-yard touchdown on Friday night, and that was the lone source of offense for the Yellow Jackets on Friday night, Brady. That was a 25-yard run late in the first quarter that tied it at 7. And then Clarksville went in on to score 35 unanswered points there to cruise to a 42-7 victory. So what can they do offensively? It's just going to take time. We talked about this off air on Monday, the fact that just offensively they're still learning some things. The quarterback center exchange was something that I noticed in Week 1 that was still off. We had some botched snaps, some snaps go over the head of quarterback Parker Betts. So they're just ironing things out on the offensive side of the ball, the kinks, the calls, the signals, getting the right formations and getting the right checks in place. So Dustin Wilson, don't be surprised, though, with this team. Dustin is as consistent as they come with that Springfield program. Do not be surprised for them to turn things around really quickly up there.
Yeah, what do you say we move on to their Week 1 opponent, the Greenbrier Bobcats? They lost to Portland 42-6 in Week 2. Our Greenbrier High School football segment is brought to you by Old Hickory Credit Union. Whether you need to open a checking account or interested in taking out a loan or a mortgage, Old Hickory Credit Union can help you every step of the way. Visit their branch at Greenbrier or give them a call at 615-847-4043. Man, what went wrong for the Bobcats on Friday night?
Yeah, so I talked about this with you also after their week one performance against Springfield. Greenbrier was extremely banged up after that rough physical matchup with the Yellow Jackets in week one. They had two or three offensive linemen go down in the second half. We mentioned that Nolan Carson, who's the Greenbrier quarterback, who was an all region guy last year, was also hobbling around in that week one loss at Springfield. So I mentioned this in my weekly pick'em column in week two that the difference in this matchup was Greenbrier's ability to stay healthy. If they could get healthy in week two, they could, find a way to win against Portland on Friday night. And they were missing several starters on the offensive line last Friday that helped contribute to their loss against Portland by a final score of 42-6. With the weather and the sweltering heat that we've had in the Middle Tennessee area and really all across the South over the last couple weeks, losing starters on the offensive line and the trenches is never good. The depth was already thin there on a veteran Bobcat team. So when you're down starters and your quarterback is banged up and you have secondary pieces and pieces on the outside offensively that are down and hobbled, that helps contribute to a loss in this fashion. Their lone touchdown came in the second quarter when Nolan Carson dove for the end zone and got a rushing touchdown. But, they fell behind early by a score of 14-0 in the first quarter, and they could just never really recover. Portland, give them credit. They did not play well in their first week matchup against White House. They turned the ball over offensively 3 times and only scored 6 points. So the Panthers came out in week two prepared, and you have to give them credit over the win against Greenbrier.
Yeah, what do you say we move on to White House Heritage? The Patriots battled East Hickman and won 41-19. Our White House Heritage High School football segment is brought to you by Springfield Carpet One in Springfield. Whether you are in need of new hardwood, luxury vinyl, tile, carpet, or laminate, Springfield Carpet One has everything you need for your next flooring project. Stop by their showroom or give them a call at 615-382-7190. Scott Murray's Patriots have already eclipsed their win total from 2022 in just 2 weeks of play. How have they been able to do it?
Yeah, you're very familiar with Scott Murray with his time at Clarksville Academy. He spent 2 seasons up there. His offense is great. Last year he had a Mr. Football finalist and Mr. Football winner in DJ Merriweather at the quarterback position. So he knows how to run an offense. And this year the Patriots offense runs through his son, freshman quarterback Xavier Murray. He was spectacular last week against East Hickman. He was 8 of 10 passing for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he was able to get the ball in the hands of playmakers like Eric Lopez on the outside, and they were able to capitalize against the East Hickman defense. We talked about this last week, that really an unsung hero and a star that's been born in the Robertson County area is White House Heritage running back Adrian Bonilla. He's really burst onto the scene through the first 2 weeks. Last week, he continued his stellar performance to start the year. He had 14 carries for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Scott Murray mentioned Bonilla as a guy in the preseason and then throughout camp that was really impressing him, and that someone is going to be able to keep an eye on and be an all-region type player for the Patriots, and he's done that so far. So the senior running back has really carried them offensively. He has over 350 yards rushing through the first 2 weeks and 5 touchdowns. So he's been great so far. Can they continue to do it? I think they can. They go on the road this week against Westmoreland. We'll preview that matchup a little later on. But, they're off to a great start. They've been able to turn people over defensively, get some stops. So, the sky's the limit for this team. We mentioned them in the preseason as a team to keep an eye on. You knew there was only room to grow for this team after last year's 1-9 year. As you mentioned, they've eclipsed that win total already. So they're a confident bunch. They have some swagger about them now, and they'll continue to learn and get better under Scott Murray.
Yeah, and of course, Xavier Murray being able to learn from a guy like DJ Merriweather, who, like you said, was the Mr. Football winner.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I did a story on those two to start the year, and just the bond that they've created. Xavier Murray talked about how him and his dad are out in the driveway shooting basketball, and they're going over X's and O's and how to make this Patriots offense a little better. They're going over their checks and reads, and it continues to the dinner table. They're talking about X's and O's at the dinner table. I'm sure Mama Murray is not happy about that. You got to leave football at the door at that time and have that family time. But, those two are very close. And, Xavier's mentioned the fact that he's been able to talk to DJ Merriweather and some other great players that his father has coached throughout the years and just pick their brains on this offense and how to make it better. So Xavier is very familiar with this system. He knows it like the back of his hand. So he's been able to help, even though he's a freshman, help teach this offense to that White House Heritage team. And it's played dividends so far throughout the first couple of weeks of the year, scoring 41 points last week and then 29 points in the first week. So they're averaging over 30 points a game, and hopefully they can continue that as they get ready this week against Westmoreland.
Yeah, how about from one family affair to another? The East Robertson Indians, they defeated Houston County 69-0. Our East Robertson High School segment is brought to you by Thomas Drugs and Cross Plains. Since the early 1900s, Thomas Drugs has served the Robertson community for all their prescription needs. Stop by and see their friendly staff and grab you a sundae at their ice cream parlor today. East Robertson has dominated its competition through its first 2 games. What makes this Indians team so lethal?
Yeah, Brady, I was nervous going into this matchup because this is the first time that I've said something really bold going into my weekly pick'em column. I said you could book this win for the Indians, and I guess they proved me right this past Friday night. It was a 69-0 thumping of Houston County. You know, Houston County was a program that had not won a game since 2020. So I don't know if there's much to take away from this effort for East Robertson, but they're extremely talented, and they're able to do it on both sides of the ball. Like White House Heritage, East Robertson has a freshman quarterback in Kason Young, and he's really dazzled so far throughout the first 2 weeks of the year. He continued that performance last Friday night against Houston County. He was 6-7 passing, so they didn't ask him to throw it all the way around the yard, but he was efficient, only had 1 incompletion. He totaled 102 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Groves, he was our player of the week last week in Robertson County. You know, he did it once again this week. He only had 5 carries, was able to manage 230 yards rushing and 2 scores. So their offense, they're no secret about what they like to do. They like to get downhill. They like to maul you in the running game. We do not give enough credit to that East Robertson offensive line, just how physical they are at the point of attack. They're able to lean on you and get to your second level of the defense and just create holes for Isaiah Groves, for Caleb McNeil. They rotate 2 backs. They have a 2-headed monster up there. So give credit to that East Robertson offensive line. They had over 245 yards rushing against Liberty Creek in week 1, and they were able to continue that here in week 2 against Houston County. And really defensively, the story of this matchup was Elijah Groves. He was the Robertson County player of the week here in week 2. I know we'll get to that a little later on, but his just ability defensively to get after you. Had 7 tackles, 1 forced fumble. He had that fumble recovery, and he took it to the end zone from 20 yards out. He was also a factor on special teams. He had a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and then he had 2 receptions and 45 yards on the offensive side of the football. So the Groves family is truly a family affair. They're so talented up there, and they get a lot of the headlines, but they're first to mention that is a team effort up there in Cross Plains. Matchup against Monterey a little later on, but you know, this is the first true test for them on the road this week, so I'm excited to see how they respond. But you know, just a talented group up there under head coach Chase Brooks and offensive coordinator Hayden Alexander.
Yeah, and we're going to go to a break here. When we come back, we're going to get into the rest of the Robertson teams and their performances from week 2.
At Old Hickory Credit Union, we're member-owned, not-for-profit, and eager to serve our Robertson County community. Since 1934, we have strived to provide our members with a safe, reliable place to take care of all their financial needs. From checking accounts to loans to mortgages, we're here to help. Credit unions have to constantly adapt to meet the needs of an ever-changing market. However, one constant will always remain, and that is the service we provide to our members. Stop by our Greenbrier branch today.
If you're in need of new flooring, look no further than Springfield Carpet One, Floor and Home. We have a showroom filled with a wide range of flooring options, including hardwood, luxury vinyl, carpet, laminate, and tile. Our expert team is here to provide advice and guidance to help you find the right flooring for your needs. With special financing available, you can buy now and pay over time. Stop by our showroom today or visit our website at carpet1springfield.com.
Thomas Drugs, serving our community since the early 1900s. We're a full-service drugstore and soda fountain located in a building on Main Street that is on the National Register of Historic Places. We have a staff of pharmacists with over 70 years of experience, and we are committed to offering the best care and service to our community. We're now offering healthcare testing and treatment with positive results, a one-stop shop. Stop by our pharmacy today or visit our website at thomasdrugs.net.
It
was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome back into the Robertson County Football Wrap-Up Show. My name is David Wilson. I'm the sports reporter of the Robertson County Connection. That is Brady McIntyre. He's the sports editor for Main Street Clarksville. Brady, I know you want to keep moving right along. We got some Joe Burns football and White House action. Get into it, so let's go.
Yeah, we got a couple of Devils to talk about. Why don't we start with the Red Ones? They went to Ballard Memorial in Kentucky, beat them 51-7. Our Joe Burns High School football segment is brought to you by Select Physical Therapy in Springfield. Select Physical Therapy provides inpatient and outpatient rehabilitation services in Robertson County. Give them a call today at 615-384-3836. And the Joe Burns offense finally got some things rolling on Friday night. They needed to get that going. Can you talk about the Red Devils' offensive performance?
Yeah, it was a good performance to see out of first-year Red Devils head coach Justin Robinson and that new-look offense. Obviously, the storyline was Amari Cotton. He was 6 of 11 passing for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns in their win over the Spartans up there in Kentucky. So offensively, they were able to get things done. I think there was 8 Joe Burns players that ended up scoring touchdowns last Friday night. So it was a complete performance from start to finish for that Red Devils offense and really that whole team as a whole. Obviously, they were disappointed after their week 1 performance against McEwen. They were able to get 14 points in the first half, but they were shut out in the second half. So I know Coach Robinson is happy about the effort throughout the entire 4-quarter period last week against Ballard Memorial. And really, Reed Blumel, who's an all-region wide receiver from a year ago for Joe Burns, he's continued to dazzle and, play really well so far. The number of catches might not be elite, but he's had 4 catches this year, and 3 of them have gone for touchdowns. He's already totaled over 120 yards receiving. So they're really dynamic in what they like to do. Amari Cotton is a dual-threat quarterback who can hurt you with his legs and he also hurts you with his arm. So getting the hands into his playmakers and wide receivers. Malachi Rivera, who's all-region linebacker and running back for Joe Burns, he got things going on the ground game last week against Ballard Memorial. That was something that we really didn't see in week 1 against McEwen. Rivera had 13 carries last week for 117 yards and a touchdown. So it was a true, complete offensive performance for Joe Burns. They were able to do it on the defensive side of the ball as well, holding Ballard Memorial into 1 score. So we'll look for that to continue. I know Justin Robinson teaching that new offense, implementing that with his new staff. I know you have to be happy about that effort. Now can you continue to take that moving forward and continue to get off to good starts? That's something they've been able to do through the first 2 games, but can they sustain it heading into second half? So I know that's something that they'll keep an eye on and have a focus on heading into this week's matchup against Whitwell.
Yeah, moving from the Red Devils to the Blue Devils, the White House football team took on Liberty Creek and won 2018, despite your predictions. Our White House High School football segment is brought to you by Springfield Carpet One in Springfield. Whether you need of new hardwood, luxury vinyl, tile, carpet, or laminate, Springfield Carpet One has everything you need for your next flooring project. Stop by their showroom or give them a call, 615-382-7190. Explosive plays from White House in the second quarter was the difference in this game. How can you talk about the Blue Devils' offensive approach that led them to scoring 3 second-quarter touchdowns?
Yeah, I like your little dig at me, the fact that I picked Liberty Creek to win this football game. So I guess shame on me. So White House, keep proving me wrong. I'm rolling with you this week against Montgomery Central. We'll get to that one a little bit later on. But really in the second quarter, explosive plays, as you mentioned, was the difference in this game. I was there, and it was the play-action pass and quarterback Tanner Hayes and his ability to get the ball down the field. In the past, and, really the identity of this White House team is they're going to ground and pound you with that offensive line that's very physical, that's making the jump this year to 4A. So I think they'll fit right in. They're a physical bunch, and they like to get downhill with the running game with Michael Albin and that offensive line. So that collapsed the box and had Liberty Creek with several defenders trying to defend against the run and open up holes in the passing game. So the first play of the second quarter, Tanner Hayes was able to hit Kenny Holt on an 83-yard touchdown right down the heart of the field. And, that really set the tone for offensive drives in the second quarter for White House and the Blue Devils. So they were able to score on 3 straight possessions in the second quarter. Michael Albin showed his quick hitting ability with a 30-yard touchdown run. And then Tanner Hayes was able to hit Trent McCormick on 4th and 12 in the second quarter as well to get a touchdown pass that was 27 yards out. So they were able to do it with their quick hitting ability in the second quarter. They took a 20-0 lead into the break over Liberty Creek, and then they had to make a stand in the second half. Liberty Creek and Brian Rager, give them credit. They made second half adjustments, and they stopped giving up the big plays to White House, and they were able to come roaring back in that game and make it a close contest towards the end. So White House was able to hold on by the little skin of their teeth. But, just a great performance by Ryan Hamilton. Give them credit. Their first 2-0 start since 2019. They look to make it 3-0 this week against Montgomery Central, a team that's been prone to give up some points. So look for White House's offense to continue to evolve, and they're going to keep doing what they do. They're going to run the football, play action pass, and they're going to play good defense. So never bet against White House at home. That's what I've learned. So I'll roll with them this week over Montgomery Central.
Yeah, we're going to go to another break here. When we come back, David's going to give us previews of all the upcoming matchups in Robertson County.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
If you're in the market for new equipment, come to Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment in Springfield. We are your one-stop shop for all of your outdoor projects and needs. We have a large selection of Echo Power equipment and a full line of bad boy mowers and tractors. We also have a broad inventory of outdoor storage buildings and provide maintenance and small engine repair on most equipment. We also carry a large line of mower engines and parts. For great financing options, stop by Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment today. If you're in need of new flooring, look no further than Springfield Carpet One, Floor and Home. We have a showroom filled with a wide range of flooring options, including hardwood, luxury vinyl, carpet, laminate, and tile. Our expert team is here to provide advice and guidance to help you find the right flooring for your needs. With special financing available, you can buy now and pay over time. Stop by our showroom today or visit our website at carpet1springfield.com.
At Old Hickory Credit Union, we're member-owned, not-for-profit, and eager to serve our Robertson County community. Since 1934, we have strived to provide our members with a safe, reliable place to take care of all their financial needs. From checking accounts to loans to mortgages, we're here to help. Credit unions have to constantly adapt to meet the needs of an ever-changing market. However, one constant will always remain, and that is the service we provide to our members. Stop by our Greenbrier branch today. Thomas Drugs, serving our community since the early 1900s. We're a full-service drugstore and soda fountain located in a building on Main Street that is on the National Register of Historic Places. We have a staff of pharmacists with over 70 years of experience, and we are committed to offering the best care and service to our community. We're now offering healthcare testing and treatment with positive results, a one-stop shop. Stop by our pharmacy today or visit our website at thomasdrugs.net.
Welcome back to the Robertson County Football Wrap-Up Show. My name is Brady McTemney, the sports editor at Main Street, Clarksville, here with David Wilson, sports reporter at the Robertson County Connection. David, we got some good football games coming up this week, and I'm sure the people want to hear what you got to say about them, so let's hear it.
Yeah, so 3 of our teams are opening up region play this week. Springfield traveling to Henry County. That's going to be a great contest, one that's going to be very physical and a lot of anticipation around it. Those two teams are no strangers to each other. They met twice last year, once in the regular season at Springfield with the guest Henry County Patriots eking out an overtime victory by the final score of 29-28. And they met again in the playoffs last year with Henry County getting a 7-point win over Springfield to dash their hopes of going to Chattanooga. So this is a matchup that Dustin Wilson and his group have probably had circled on the calendar. Can they bounce back from last week's performance against Clarksville? I know that left a very bitter taste in their mouth, just, kind of got punched in the teeth on both sides of the football, not being able to get a stop defensively and not being able to get things done on the offensive side of the ball with quarterback junior Parker Betts. So can they bounce back? I expect them to put in a better effort this week. Will that translate to the scoreboard? That is yet to be seen. But, Dustin Wilson, as I mentioned, you don't want to bet against his teams. They're so consistent in everything that they do, and they find their way to play their best football when it matters most. So that is a matchup that's taking place this week. That's a region matchup, so we'll have our eye on that one. Other region matchups, Greenbrier taking on Whites Creek. Greenbrier is 0-2 under head coach John Elmore. Can they bounce back against Whites Creek this week, who's making the jump from 2A to 4A? So expect Greenbrier to be really physical in that matchup. Whites Creek making the adjustment to a higher level and higher classification of football. The health of Greenbrier is really going to dictate that matchup. If you're losing offensive linemen, 2 to 3 starters on that ball, it's going to be really hard to establish the line of scrimmage. This week's weather looks to be a little cooler than last week. Last week was really hot and muggy, so the depth might not get tested as much as it was last week. But I expect John Elmore's group with Nolan Carson and Travaris Flood to bounce back this week and pick up their first win of the year against Whites Creek. Whites Creek's 1-1 on the year. They played Livingston Academy and Woodell through their first 2 weeks. So, the competition has been as great for Whites Creek. So look for Greenbrier to establish the line of scrimmage, run the football with Carson Wood, and try to get the ball in the hands, of Travaris Flood on the outside. And then finally, our last region matchup of the week is White House taking on Montgomery Central. As I mentioned earlier, White House, they're 2-0 for the first time since 2019. Montgomery Central is a team that you're very familiar with, Brady. They're 0-2. And I think something that you would tell me is that they are very prone and susceptible to giving up big plays defensively. So White House can try to take advantage of that by establishing the line of scrimmage, by running the football with Michael Alvin, with Deion Gunter, and then getting the, Tanner Hayes to implement the play action pass, hitting Kenny Holt and Trenton McCormick in the play action passing game. So if White House can do that and play the good defense and sound defense that they did in the first half of last week's game against Liberty Creek and in the entire game against Portland and force turnovers, then this should be a region win for White House in their first 3-0 start since 2019. Other matchups on the slate, White House Heritage, who is 2-0, travels to face Westmoreland, who is 1-1. Really, the question is, can the Patriots take the show on the road this week? Their first 2 games have been in the luxury of White House and their home confines. So can they take the show on the road and, put together a good performance overall? This is freshman quarterback Xavier Murray's first road start. So expect him to lean on senior running back Adrian Bonilla and establish a line of scrimmage and continue to run the football well. I want to give a shout-out to that White House Heritage offensive line. They've been able to do it and have over 350 yards rushing through the first couple weeks. So can they take the show on the road? I think they can. I'm expecting them to win this football game. It's going to be really tight. Westmoreland is a talented football team. They're the home team. They'll come out really fired up. So our own Terry McCormick will be out there covering that one. He'll have some good photos and a nice little recap for you. Moving on, Joe Burns is making the travel to Whitwell to face the 2-0 Tigers. So expect that one to be a really close matchup. These 2 teams faced each other last year in the playoffs. It was a matchup that was very one-sided, but Whitwell has graduated some starters and looks a little different on both sides of the ball this year. Amari Cotton making his second career road start going to the Chattanooga area. Can they continue to develop that passing game? This year Cotton is 17 of 38 passing, so he's completing less than 50% of his passes. Can they clean that up and have a performance that was similar to last week's win over Ballard Memorial? Can they get the running game going? Can they continue that moving forward with Malachi Rivera? And then on the outside, can Reed Blumel continue to make big chunk plays in the passing game? So, Joe Burns is going to have players playing on both sides of the ball. So they're going to have to get off the field on third down on defense and be able to limit some snaps on the defensive side of the ball. And then East Robertson, this is my game of the week for week 3. It's a matchup that I anticipated being a good one early on in the year. I had it previewed several weeks ago. They travel to face Monterey, who is 2-0 as well under Scott Hughes. They are a consistent program. They have had 4 consecutive winning seasons out there. So the Wildcats are a talented bunch, and they are really excited about this matchup with East Robertson. Another freshman quarterback to talk about, and it's Casey Young. Can he take the show on the road and continue to play well? He's done that so far this year. He's been able to take care of the football and limit mistakes and get the East Robertson offense in the right formations and in the right checks. So they're going to lean on Isaiah Groves. They're going to lean on Elijah Groves and their ability to make plays. So that's a matchup that's going to be really exciting to watch. Besides this matchup, this is the only, matchup that I considered being a really tough and, toss-up for East Robertson this year. Their schedule is very favorable, and if they can win this weekend, which I predicted them to do, they have all the makings of an undefeated football team and running the table throughout the rest of the year. So we'll go to our last commercial break. We'll come back with our Player of the Week award right after this.
If you're in need of new flooring, look no further than Springfield Carpet One, Floor and Home. We have a showroom filled with a wide range of flooring options, including hardwood, luxury vinyl, carpet, laminate, and tile. Our expert team is here to provide advice and guidance to help you find the right flooring for your needs. With special financing available, you can buy now and pay over time. Stop by our showroom today or visit our website at carpet1springfield.com.
Watch it! Did that guy even see that girl on her bike?
Just like looking for other cars before switching lanes, drivers should keep their eyes out for those traveling on bikes. When a crash occurs between a vehicle and a bike, it's the cyclist who is most likely to be injured. Give cyclists room and do not pass too closely. Riders have the same rights and responsibilities as those behind the wheel.
Be aware, be alert. Brought to you by THSO, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
If you're in the market for new equipment, come to Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment in Springfield. We are your one-stop shop for all of your outdoor projects and needs. We have a large selection of Echo Power equipment and a full line of bad boy mowers and tractors. We also have a broad inventory of outdoor storage buildings and provide maintenance and small engine repair on most equipment. We also carry a large line of mower engines and parts. For great financing options, stop by Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment today.
Welcome back to the Robertson County Football Wrap-Up Show. David Wilson just provided us some good stuff, looking at some insight for the upcoming games. And now we're going to go ahead and hand out a Player of the Week award. So, David, who you got?
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. I just came out and said it, so I guess I just put a teaser out there for you. But the Player of the Week for Week 2 in the Robertson County area is none other than Elijah Groves of East Robertson. It is a family affair up there in Cross Plains. Last week, it was Isaiah Groves with his rushing performance in Liberty Creek that earned him the Player of the Week award. In Week 2, it is a defensive effort and the special teams effort of Elijah Groves that helped him earn the Player of the Week award in their 69-0 win over Houston County. He was all over the field last Friday night. He had 7 tackles, forced a fumble, recovered that same fumble, and took it in for a 20-yard touchdown. He also made his presence felt on special teams. He had a 90-yard kickoff return that he took to the house, and then he also had 2 receptions for 45 yards on the offensive side of the football. So congrats to Elijah. He's our Week 2 Player of the Week in Robertson County. Looking forward to a great slate of Week 3 action here in the Robertson County area. Excited to talk to you next week. Brady will be back with us, so we look forward to that. Brady, thanks again for tuning in with us. Always a pleasure to have you in here talking Robertson County athletics and Robertson County football. We'll talk to you guys next week.
You've been watching the Robertson County High School Football Show with Robertson County Connection sports reporter David Wilson and Main Street Clarksville sports editor Brady McAtamney. Read this week's Robertson County Connection for all the latest news about Robertson County High School sports. The Robertson County High School Football Show has been brought to you by Springfield Carpet One, Thomas Drugs, Old Hickory Credit Union, Countryside Outdoor Power Equipment, Select Physical Therapy in Springfield, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest on Robertson County football.